Hello, I'm Michael. I'm going to show you today how to create a podcast recording. Now, I know a lot of you out there probably say, oh, I already know how to do that. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I'm going to tell you, there are a few things that you need to have before you start making your podcast recordings. The first thing you need to have is a shirt, like this one, that has your college alma mater on it. If you don't have a college alma mater, get one. Which means go to school and get a degree. Know what you're doing in life. The second thing you need is a bottle of water because you get thirsty doing this. All right. Now obviously the third thing that you need is a script. This particular script for the podcast recording of America is Lost was written in 1984. It was written on a Smith Corona Quick Memory 2 typewriter in 1984. So it's got all kinds of errors in it. But the newer version that I did in 2020 after the election is much better. In any case, I still have to do some rewrites occasionally. Because the next thing you really need to do is you need to have a collection of music that you're going to use along with the script in your podcast. Now, all the music that I use in my podcasts come from YouTube, from their podcast creators site, which if you are a podcast creator, you have access to it. And it's a very long list. It's probably over 1,000 different tracks that you can download and use without royalty or copyright. It's copyright free, royalty free. You can use any of it that you want, as much of it as you want. Now, I actually put in credits in my videos and in my podcasts, write-ups that give credit to the artist for the music. So that's important. Just to be courteous to those whose work you use, you should give them credit, even if you don't have to. I do it anyway. I'm just that kind of guy. All right, so you got to have software, you got to have a console, and basically your technology stuff. Now, in the making of America is Lost, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time. People don't even realize how much goes into making one episode. And one episode could be as little as 5 minutes long, or it could be as long as 15 minutes. It all depends. It all depends on the script and the music. Because when you're playing the music and you're trying to fit a script to music, there's timing involved. There is a lot of timing involved. You have to listen to it. You have to think it. You have to think, is this going to work? You got to find the downbeat, and that's when you start. You got to know how long you should take to get to the end of that track, and where you're going to end the track, or where you're going to end the script in alignment with the track. It's complicated, but what you're going to see, you're not going to hear the music that I'm listening to, but what you're going to see is you're going to see me working on a podcast recording of episode 9. And I'm going to be listening to the music, and I'm going to be making mistakes. I'm going to restart. It takes a lot to make this. So follow along if you can. Test. Testing. Okay, here we go. I don't know the downbeat on this song just yet. I might just have to listen to it. Sometimes I can wing it and get it the first time. Sometimes I have to do it several times before I get the right downbeat and get the right timing. This track is 150 seconds. This track is 1 minute 50 seconds. This track is 1 minute 56 seconds long. So I probably got about 20 to 30 seconds to get to a downbeat when I start doing my podcast reading. So I'm not playing anything yet. I'm just kind of looking at everything. I've got over here on my screen, I got my recording software running. I've got my media player. I've got my selections for this particular episode all set up, all lined out. And I set this up to record in pause mode. All I gotta do is click pause to unpause, and then click play on the track, and it starts recording. And then I listen for my downbeat. All right, here we go. Episode 9, Loss of Laughs. Out of the swamp, the genie unvaporizes and tends to the wounds of Cyclops, like she is Sancho Panza. But that behemoth buccaneer is not hurt, so the salves and wrappings stored in her knapsack are not needed. Laugh-A-Lot is in worse shape than the mutilated Swamp Thing. I think he is going to die. We shall see. The instinctual nursing abilities of the genie begin to prove themselves as she quickly brings Laugh-A-Lot around with some smelling salts and the new taste of Coke. This isn't funny anymore, you bums. I went out of this quest. Bam! First time take. That's what I'm talking about. Now, what you don't understand is that I searched through these tracks and did this rehearsal probably for 3 hours today before I finally decided to do a one-time take attempt. So that was good to go on the first attempt. I like it. I think we're going to move on. So I'm going to show you my text real quick. I don't know what you can see in that, but you can see how it's all marked up. And I took I started on a 30-second downbeat. So I'm going to go ahead and note that because that's when I started in 30 seconds into the music. Found a good downbeat right at that moment where I could fit, and I started reading the title at that point. So now we're going to go into the next setup. So I'm going to get the next music ready, the next track ready. This one's got a pretty fast beat. I may listen to it for a second. See if I got marked here 18 seconds for the downbeat. Let me just verify that. Yeah, that's a good downbeat. All right, so here we go, starting up, pause, record. All right, meanwhile, in his castle laboratory. All right, meanwhile, in his castle laboratory. All right, it's like the character voice, it's like the character narrator voice. Okay, here we go. Alright, I had to stop there because my arm hit the microphone, which causes the noise. You don't want to, when you're doing this, you want to try to, even if you have to stop and start over on a particular segment, if you got some weird noise going on, you got to stop and start over because you can't have that noise in your final edit. And you don't want to waste time going through the entire thing, then listen to it like, oh man, I should have done that over. No, don't waste your time. This does take a lot of time. So perfection is important in this. People won't want to listen to what you do if there's all this crappy noise in the background. So you've got to pay attention to it. Don't hesitate to stop and start over. It's not that big of a deal. Taking the time you need to do it right is better than, and I'm gonna tell you, because I put out a lot of crappy stuff while I was learning how to do this, and it just ends up being a lot more work in the long run, because then you gotta go re-record it all. You gotta, oh man, and there's a noise there, I can't stand that. And people don't want to listen to that noise in the background. Trust me, start over, do it right. Test. Okay. Ooh, I just needed to go right. Oh, I can't do that. Try to find the most comfortable position here, because I gotta work the slider. Gotta work the volume slider. Here we go. Meanwhile, in his castle laboratory, the wizard has been watching his enemy's every moves by means of hidden camera and closed circuit television. So the Rube Robin Hood wants out, does he? Well, I can fix that. Let's see here. Treacherous. Treasonous. Here it is. Treasure map. The nasty necromancer thumbs through his book to find the most treacherous and treasonous spell of foul play, the treasure map. Oh, wizard, you are cruel for sending the unsuspecting foolish freak Elaphalot on a will-o'-the-wisp adventure parallel to the ultimate quest of life, once recognized by Horatio Algiers as the Great American Dream. Bam, baby! First time take on that one too, a rocket. But I gotta be honest with you, there was a lot of rehearsal that went into being able to do a first time take on that. But that's working out. That was good music. This next one is probably going to be a little bit harder. You might end up having a retake, a redo on this one. I got to read about almost 2 pages on this next song. This next track is 3 minutes and 38 seconds long. I got marked here 18 seconds on the downbeat. I'm going to verify that. I'm going to listen to that, see if that sounds right, because this 3 minutes 38 seconds, that's a lot of music for only a page and a half of text, and this is poetry. So it's not easy to read poetry to a specific speed that matches a track. Now you can get the beat, but if your track is long like this one, you've got to work it somehow. So I don't know if this one's going to work. This part I haven't really done the kind of rehearsal as I did on the first 2. So, and there are four tracks being used in this particular episode. The last track is 1:39. And it's only just a little more than a page. and I have enough time to do the my signature ending on that track. So we'll see. Let me double check the downbeat. It's a little bit of a slower song. "15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. 18 is going to work. I think 18 is going to work. All right, here we go. Test, test, test. As our attention returns to the trio, about to become a duo. Okay. As our attention turns. Okay. It'll work. As our attention returns to the trio about to become a duo, we find them catching their breaths outside the back gates of the Chateau de Congrès. Suddenly, 3 nymphs spring out from behind the rose garden outside the Oval Office. Okay, I can't read my writing. Stop. Alright, and alright. This was an edit in the text, and I didn't write it very clearly. And the East Garden. Now this is an edit into the original text from 1984. The original text says, "Spring out from behind the rose bushes," and then it goes on to one sings and the other one plays 2 harps, and the other 2 play harps. Well, I decided at this point, because of what's happening in the story, I need to give some physical representation of the setting. In this case, mentioning the rose garden outside of the Oval Office and from the East Garden all give this geographical sort of reference to around the White House, because in the story, the character doesn't actually go to the Chateau de Congrès. He ends up going to the White House, which is what happens in real life too. But in any case, let me try it again. Now, when I do a stop like that, I've got to like erase what I recorded, go back. And cut and set it up again to start. Now it's better to stop right away than to keep going, and because you can't edit out when you do it with a track like this. It's got to be smooth. You can't. I've only been able to do it once or twice, and the cut not be detectable. But with other recordings, you can edit out all the blah blah blah, and nobody ever knows that happened. But in this case, you can't. When there's a music track, you've got to go with the flow completely. You can't stop. You got to go. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be right the first time. It's not easy. All right, here we go. We're going to try it again. Suddenly, 3 nymphs spring out from behind the rose garden outside the Oval Office and from the East Garden. One sings, the other 2 play harps. The travelers, having finished the genie's bottle,
are too relaxed to believe their eyes, a total of 5. Their 5 eyes are glazed green and red with the effects of alcohol. Scandalous thoughts of rape and sex never cross their minds. The nymphs, well accepted, dance joyfully and gaily together as the tired fellows watch. The singing nymph sings a morning song for Laugh-A-Lot. All right, that was too fast. I got 2 minutes and 25 seconds left on my time on that track, and I don't have 2 minutes and 25 seconds left of reading. So I'm gonna have to go back, slow it down some, find a place to slider up the music, give it a little break in there, and kill some of that track. I mean, I think that the audience likes listening to this music and not just the poetry. So I really like this stuff, this music, these tracks that are free. So we're going to try it again. Like I said, it's better to stop before wasting all your time. Just go back and start over when you feel like this isn't right and do it again. And there were a few errors in that. All right, slider up, pause, record, music set, testing, testing, testing. Suddenly 3 nymphs. Oh no, I gotta start it here. Oh, I better check myself. Oh wow, I wasn't even starting at the right place. Okay. No wonder that didn't seem right. All right, here we go. As our attention returns to the trio about to become a duo, that's where it goes. And this is the right track. Okay. As our attention returns to the trio about to become a duo, we find them catching their breaths outside the back gates of the Chateau de Congrès. Suddenly, 3 nymphs spring out from behind the rose garden, outside the Oval Office, and from the East Garden. One sings, the other 2 play harps. The travelers, having finished the genie's bottle, are too relaxed to believe their eyes, a total of 5. Their 5 eyes are glazed green and red with the effects of alcohol. Scandalous thoughts of rape and sex never cross their minds. The nymphs, well accepted, dance joyfully and gaily together as the tired fellows watch. The singing nymph sings a morning song for Laugh-A-Lot. Treasures you'll find deep in your mind, try not to hide. Oh wait, no, I got a great idea for this one. Okay. No, this is going to be too good. Okay. Alright, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do here. I didn't even think about doing this before, so I'm going to tell you. Now, my console has the capability of modifying voices to be other than my normal voice. So I could do modified monster voices, modified male voices, modified female voices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a modified female voice for this poem. So this poem, which is going to be the Singing Nymph song, is going to be a female voice. Let me see. You won't be able to hear it on the recording, but I'm going to just try to see if I can figure out which female voice setting I want to use. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. I don't know. Chill, child voice, nymph voice, child voice. Treasures you'll find deep in your mind. Try not to hide. You must confide. Okay. I don't have a lot of adjustment for the child voice. It's just like one funky sound. Female, 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 female voice, female voice, female voice, female voice, female voice, female voice, female, female voice, female voice, female voice, female voice, female voice, female voice, female, female voice, female, female voice, female voice, female, 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 female. Come on. Why can't I get it? Why can't? Female voice, female. Treasures you'll find deep in your mind. Try not to hide. You must confide. That's just how it's going to be. That's just it right there. All right. So back to the regular voice. Once I hit female voice modification, then I'll read this part. And once I get through reading the Singing Nymph song, then I'll go back to normal voice, and that'll work. All right. So I want to hit that at right about the midpoint. 338. I want to hit that right about. I want to hit that right about 151. It's not a dead set time, but 151 is the goal. That's like the range. I want to try to hit that in 1 minute and 51 seconds. I want to be going into the Singing Nymph song. Okay, here we go. Testing, testing, testing. As our attention returns to the trio.
Well, fortunately, the video camera shut down, stopped recording after only like 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to check into that, why it's doing that. But I think the important thing is that you can see what it takes to create a podcast recording where you're using music tracks and you're reading poetry and you're doing this combination. This is what we're doing here at Pauliette Loschid Publishing. We are leveraging modern communications technology in arts, entertainment, and information for the benefit of a future ready audience. Thank you for listening. I am Michael.